What do I want my next chapter in life to be? What a great question. As a coach, I call it your next act. So we're not going to talk about my coaching today. And I think something that I've done recently or examining what I do is I almost always talk about my coaching and I never talk about me. And April will be the first one to tell you that it's never about me. But I talked to April this morning, and one of the things that's important to me, we'll get into the next act, is to make sure that people that I care about, that I love, that are my friends, they know I'm thinking of them and I expect nothing in return. So for those who don't know who I am, I'm Coach Dane, Trainer Dane, Pop-Op, Dad, DB. There's all kinds of names. But at the end of the day, I want to be a kind-hearted, loving human being that leaves a legacy so people remember me and take my hopes, dreams, and beliefs with them when I'm gone. So April used to say all the time that she loved my list. I've been a list maker, 10 things of this, 20 things of that, 7 here, 3 there. As a matter of fact, in my Trailblazer Nation, the community I coach, today I made a list of 3 things: smile, breathe, and move. Pretty simple, right? But we forget to do it all the time. We really do. So I decided today to make a list and share. And 10 things that I want my next act, my next chapter to be. Set the groundwork first. So between my wife and I, we have 5 children, ages 36 to 22, and one of them is back home trying to figure out where she's going in life at age 22. It happens. Between us, we have 4 grandchildren, ages 12 to 6 months. The oldest 2 grandchildren are living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My son-in-law is active duty. They moved there last June, and we just got back about 3 weeks ago. We had an amazing time. More things that are happening in my life. So you get the groundwork, you get to know where these 10 things are coming from. So on the outside and social media, life seems pretty good. I was born with a big ass smile. It's gotten me out of a lot of trouble as a kid. I was never really a rule breaker, but I'm still a rule bender. But if we wind the clock back, be kind, rewind for those who are old enough to remember Blockbuster and going on the weekends and standing by that little mail chute, hoping that your favorite movie was in there. In October of 24, my wife had a pacemaker put in. Sounds really, really scary. And I guess what led up to it can be, but we were both marathoners. And that was almost 10 years ago it was 10 years ago this December that Tanya crossed the finish line in Bryan College Station, the home of Texas A&M, and became a marathoner, 26.2 miles. And it was an amazing experience for both of us, the training, the running together, the fussing together, all those things. But throughout that, she'd go to the doctor, she'd get her blood pressure checked, and her heart rate was low, but we just assumed it's because she was super fit, hyper fit. But then fast forward, it never really got better. She was having a surgery, and she was all hooked up to IVs and laying on the bed, getting ready to go. And the anesthesiologist walked in and said, "Nope, we're not doing that today," because her heart rate was too low. Well, at one point in my life, I was cardiac rehab director. And so I instantly called Dr. Garcia and I said, "Hey, this is Dane. This is what knows Tanya too." And the office wasn't even open. I mean, we were the first surgery of the day. I've been around medicine and medical wellness my whole life. So you want to be the first one in every day, or the first one after at the doctor's appointment, the first one after lunch, so they can't be late. So he puts her on a stress test, and eventually he hits the stop button and says, "Just get off," because she was fine. But then 5 years go by, more than that 9 years. It was last year, it was getting worse. She actually passed out at work, had to take a trip to the ER, seemed okay. Then she saw a new cardiologist and she was like, "This isn't normal." And she made her an appointment with an EP, electrophysiologist, which is like a next level. And we saw him on a Thursday, and she had the pacemaker put on a Friday. And Saturday morning, she woke up with color. She woke up without being lethargic, and life completely changed. So it's a good thing. Modern medicine can be freaking amazing. Then, unfortunately, she got the bad stick of the DNA. So she has had a bone spur removed on her left foot, but they did the surgery several times to repair the Achilles tendon, eventually taking a tendon from her great toe or big toe and creating a Achilles tendon. Time goes by, heals, still never really, really great. I don't know if she'd ever do it again, actually. Well, she did it again on her right foot, and that was December 5th of 2025. She's healing. We're thinking, okay, my birthday's in January. She'll be at least in the walking boot. We got on Skyscanner if you have never used it, and literally you can put in your airport and put at anywhere or everywhere. I'm like, just put in San Antonio or put in Austin, because again, we live in the same hometown as April in New Braunfels, Texas, and it said Denver, Colorado. It's $44 round trip, so $88. I'm like, let's go. All I wanted to do was whatever was the least expensive, because I love that. I don't care if it had taken us to Mexico Beach, that would have been awesome. But whatever was inexpensive, we get away for the weekend. So we went in the snow. People were like, you're going to Denver in the winter? Why not? Just explore. But we learned that day to navigate an airport with a wheelchair, to realize most airlines want you or want them to push you through the airport. Well, we come home. She was using a knee scooter, because you realize if you're on crutches, it's nearly impossible to carry a cup of coffee or something from the kitchen to the living room or the dining room table. Well, we have two corgis, and one of their cute little butts and their long big ears ran under the knee scooter, and Tanya lost her balance. And when you think you're going to fall down and face plant, you don't care if it's your right foot or your left foot. You put down whatever foot it is so you don't eat poo. Well, she put down the surgically repaired foot, and the tendon ruptured. And they said, I imagined what he said was, well, you ever make a paper lantern when you're a kid? You know, it's kind of big at the end. It's got those little slits, and you can kind of, push it in, push it out. Her tendon had imploded like that. Well, she had to have it again 4 weeks ago. Tomorrow. So here we are, and we're getting through it every day. Everything I do in life is about positivity. So, taking the stitches out yesterday, that's a move in the right direction. Knowing that this time next year, she'll be walking or rucking. Rucking is wearing a weighted backpack and hiking or walking through your town or wherever it is. So that's this time next year. So think big, act small. And I coach to think in years, plan in months, and live in days. And so right now, I want you to start living in days. So that was a long introduction. I hope you're still here. But I just decided I was just going to speak from my heart today. And I'm going to share a list of 10 things that my next chapter in life, and maybe it'll inspire your next chapter in life too. This is exactly what I coach. I call it a vivid vision. So I challenge all of my clients to create a 3-year vivid vision. We'll come back and talk about how to get effed up. It's family, friends, fitness, finances, and faith another time. But today, on my list, I want to lead a ruck in Europe. And guess what? That's going to happen in September 2025. So we're hosting a retreat in Ireland. We're taking 6 people with Tanya and I 8. Keep it small because we want to be in charge of the transportation on the wrong side, right? So we're going to do that all throughout Ireland. It's called Hikes and Pints, September 2025. I recently published a self-help book, really small. It's all action. It's literally talk, and answer questions. I want to publish another book, a longer book, more of a life book, a life journey book, right? I used to joke, and I don't know if this will still be it, that the working title would be Raised Catholic by a Jewish Mother, How to Overcome Guilt, Oy vey. I don't know if that's really going to be the title, but I bet it would catch your attention. I want to take a month off the grid, unplug, and go explore. It could be in Texas where I live. It could be in Mexico. I don't know where it would be. I don't have that. I don't care. I just want to unplug for a month, either hand the reins of the business over to somebody else or have it automated so that people still are seen, heard, and valued. So I want to take a month off the grid. One of the things I want to do, kind of adjunct to that, so this will be 3A or 3B, is I want to go down to Mexico on one of the beaches, say Tulum, and I want to live there for a month, and I want to host events, and I want to host clients, and then when they're gone, I want to live there. And because we can fly directly to the San Antonio airport, it's literally from Cancun, it's 2 hours door to door. So I just think it would be badass that we could get her an Uber, maybe we'll rent a car, who knows, take her to the Cancun airport. She flies home in 2 hours. She drives home to our home in New Braunfels. She works for 3 or 4 days. She comes home because she is a hospital employee. She works in histology. And she's got a great schedule. It's 3 on, 2 off, 3 on, 6 off. I'd love to host a podcast tour. So my podcast is called Turn Positivity into Possibility. And I would love to interview people between 40 and 60 and know what they're doing in life. The 40-year-olds who maybe still have kids at home. Maybe you're a later bloomer and you still have kids at home. What does life look like for you? Is it joy? Is it sorrow? Is it pain? Is it suffering? Are you caring for your elderly parents? Have you lost hope about what life could be because the world tells you now that you're 45, almost 60, that you've lost hope? No, I don't think so, but I guess I'd have to listen, right? So I'd like to do that. I want to launch a Fit After 50 movement, which I'm kind of doing now on a very small scale. But I want you to know that you don't have to give up. You don't have to do a burpee. You don't have to run the marathon if you don't want to. If you want to, I'd happy to train you. With that, sometime last year, Trailblazer Jessica texted me and said, "Hey, can you help me ruck?" Again, rucking is wearing a weighted backpack. You can start with books. You can put Trulies in it and take them out on the ruck. I don't care, but just some weight. It can be your Dora the Explorer backpack that your kid or your grandkid left and put something in it. Hell, put a bunch of Coke Zeros in it. I don't care. My 100-year-old client gave me that. She loves to give me soda, and I ate a ice cream sandwich with her. That's not usually my jam, but if you come to me and you're 99 and 3/4 years old and you ask me to do a shot of tequila with you, I'm going to do it. You ask me to eat an ice cream sandwich, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. But what you need to do is discover exercises you enjoy that you will do. And let me ask you this. What is the number one piece of fitness equipment? It's the one you'll use. That's simple. I want to mentor 100 coaches this month. I have not launched it yet. I have one client already who's gone through it and helped me with videos and things like that and worksheets. But I have created my own life coaching school and certification. And before my last breath on this earth, I want at least 100 students to go because I will die. So will you. Life is a temporary experience, but I want to leave a legacy. I want to coach coaches, train the trainer. So 100, hold me to that, April. 100 coaches certified through my school. This one's also going to happen in Ireland during the European Rock, not at the same time, but we decided that we wanted to renew our 10-year wedding vows. And we're going to do it at the Cliffs of Moher. And Trailblazer Bob is going to do the vows for us. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. And even if it's windy as hell and I've seen pictures, you know what? It's just part of the experience. Nobody remembers 75 and sunny. But I don't want it really to be raining and windy, but if it is, we'll never forget it. We absolutely will never forget it. We'll never forget the fact that we rented a Port Aransas community center for our wedding, and Tanya and her mom and her aunt and her cousin all walk through the fountain, which is now full of cement. I tell Tanya all the time it's because they played like little kids, but it's all good, right? I want to take a road trip coast to coast. So I pretty much live in the center part, a little south, but center part of the country. So I can go up, go west, and go to California, and go all the way to New York, Boston, Connecticut. Who knows? Maybe that'll be part of the 30-day disconnect. I don't know. Maybe we'll combine those two. And if I combine those two, then I get to add another one on this 10. And last but not least, 10 is for you. 10 is for you. I want to remind you, you don't need permission to make a list. You don't need permission to make your dreams come true because dreams don't have an expiration date. My friends, never stop shining your light. And here's my story. I actually said this. So a lot of times I have 3 in-person clients. Everybody else is online. And Alice is 99. I have a young man with a TBI, which is a traumatic brain injury. And then I have Lee, who's a really good friend who wants to hang out. I'm like, dude, this is what I do for a living, so you'll have to hire me. And so he does. He has for several years now. But we were talking, and I said we were talking about dream. I'm a dreamer, big time dreamer, always have been. A future, remember, think in years, plan in months, live in days. And his mother-in-law passed away just before Christmas, so not quite 6 months. And his wife's just now they own their own business, getting back into the business and she's going to do all the marketing, which she's really good at rather than sales. And I said, Lee, when the musical artist Prince died, the world mourned for about 4 days. And then they went back to work. So when you and I die, God bless you if the world knows your name like Taylor Swift or Prince or John Lennon. But if not, your family and friends will be sad for sure. And they should be. And then they're going to go back to work. So how do we honor that? By living the best life we can. To live the life you have while you create the life you love. So to reiterate April's question today, What does your next act look like? What does your next chapter look like? Whether it's 25 and you're turning the page, 45, 55, 65, when and what are you doing to turn the page? Don't let anybody ever turn your light off. Thank you. Go be amazing.